Hmm. All right. So should I start? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Romula One World Championship. We right now are resting in the penultimate round of the championship as a whole. After a pretty bad lag spike from Critical, he wasn't able to close out the previous race in first place. And now the championship now rests with a half a point difference. If Fernand messes up in this race and Critical comes first, then Critical will be World Championship. Wait, how do I triple my words that bad? But either way, if Critical fails in this race, and wait, no, God, let me try that
Take
one
your
more
time.
time.
Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah, if
Take your
Critical
time. It's all
messes
right. It's okay.
if Fernand messes up in this race and Critical ends up winning, then he will be the world champion in the penultimate race. However, nothing has been decided yet, and there are still 2 races to go. So the most that both of the drivers can do here is damage control to see how good of a chance they'll give themselves at winning the championship in the final race. But of course, we do still have this race to go. So then, my fellow commentator, Spingen, or whatever it's called, where are we today?
We are here at the the Montevideo circuit, located in the country of Uruguay. And this isn't just any ordinary circuit. This is a high-speed, very, very technical circuit with a circuit length of 4.73 kilometers, with 18 corners, 7 to the left, 11 to the right. We're going to see average speeds tonight of about 250 kilometers an hour, with top speeds of 340 kilometers an hour. Now, let's talk about what we've seen in free practice. Well, free practice 3 at least, because from what I've seen, Ferrari look kind of quick, with Fernand setting the fastest time in the session, 107.7 flat, to put him to the top, about a tenth quicker than the Ferrari of ASM, who set a 1 minute 7.8 something.
Hold on, wait. Wasn't ASM driving for Haas in the last race? Did he abandon his team and jump ship to McLaren? Clearly, I'm missing something because this doesn't entirely look right. But still, on top of that, Outguard actually sets the fastest lap right now. But we have over 10 minutes to set a faster lap, so there's no telling how long that's gonna last. As Fernand actually goes into the pits to refresh his softs before the race has even properly begun, just to give him a better shot in qualifying. Here's what I have to say about that. And now heading out of the pits. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff, but I couldn't resist. Okay. But either way, Vulcan doesn't particularly have the best lap going forward, but he knows that if he can get some good speed, then he might just be able to start the next lap quicker than if he had to orbit around the whole track. But now also finishing a race is ooh, it doesn't quite give them a better time. For Aston Martin are going to have to. And right at that moment, the other Aston Martin of a loose spot makes a critical mistake going into the next couple laps. But there is also an Alpine that's about to cross the line. Where is that going to put them? Okay, that puts the pretty good chance of taking it. There's been murder. The third is at the side of the road. He's split into pieces.
Is he?
What do we do?
He is. Oh, never mind. He's in the pit lane with me.
Okay. Thank God for that. For a second, I thought the third would have been deferred all the way to hell. That's a bit of a moment right there. So looking back on the track itself, Outguard isn't particularly setting any more faster sectors. I think he might have peaked with that lap, and now the real question is if he's going to be able to keep that. But also, someone else who also has particularly good pace is Ratya. he was shown to have a pretty good race beforehand, especially for the AlphaTauri team. But he wasn't necessarily able to capitalize off it due to a connection issue. And considering how close the race was, we may have even potentially seen an AlphaTauri win. What do you? Quick question. Wait, quick question, Spingen. What is your opinion on the current recent pace of the AlphaTauris? Because as I say that, they are hitting almost all of the curbs, but like overall, AlphaTauri has been shown to be way better lately. What do you have to say about that?
Well, knowing it's Red Bull's second team, I'm actually not surprised about their sudden pace increase. But on a serious note, though, it's great to see another team near the front of the field because, all these big leagues, they make their, they make their money, they get their viewers and such through close battles. And if we can see 2 or more teams at the front or near the front of the field fighting away for the for pole position, race wins, fastest laps, etc., etc.
We say that as he flips. I have commentators curse. Let's be honest. But also, Fernand is looking to close out a lap of his own. He got some pretty solid sectors, but as he comes to the line, the question is going to be if he can make use out of that and bring himself any further up the standings. Because third is no wait, hold on, he missed the starting line. No wait, he's already done it. I was gonna commentate on it, but it seems that we missed it while that was happening. Rookie mistake. But yeah,
Sorry,
looking at
let's have a look and see who's improving. Let's see. Sylvia's currently had a green sector 1, not a personal best sector 2. Let's see what they can do. They come across the line. Where are they? Sylvia is 14th at the moment, setting 2 green sectors and a 110.3.
Nobody's particularly setting that many good splits, but also as I'm saying that, Critical sets 2 green sectors. If he could close this out, he may even get ahead of his teammate. He just barely misses hitting the curbs at the side, which is ironic because in the Apex World Championship race they couldn't stop doing that. But Apex has an extremely solid line. Where's this going to put Critical in the standings? He doesn't improve on his time. That's odd. That certainly looked like it was going to be a lot better for me. But flicking through the other drivers that also have good pace. The third doesn't have any great. Wait, no, hold on. Falcon, nothing updated for them. Like, I don't know why, but all 3 of the times staying after a full lap is done is seriously confusing me. But yeah, there's no green sectors through the lap so far, and it's starting to look more and more like Outguard's pole the longer this goes.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Did you say that again?
But yeah, there's no real big green sectors being set by any of the drivers. They only have a few more laps to do it, and it's starting to look more and more like Outguard's lap as time is going on. Okay, but there is also the McLaren of, I think that's Falcon, who's about to cross the line. Does he improve on his time? No, he doesn't. There's no shifts in the leaderboard. Honestly, with not much extra pace, there's not really too much to commentate on. I think we can more so talk about the season overall, because Fernan is now seriously starting to close in Fernan is now seriously starting to close in on Critical. What do you think is going through Fernand's head right now? Especially considering that he just barely, and I do mean barely, has the advantage on him.
Well, the only thing that's going to be going through Fernand's mind is Critical, because he knows that he is in an extremely close championship fight with him, and he knows that if he makes one single mistake in the race, then that could be the end of his championship hopes. And the next chance he'll be going for that is in goodness knows how long from now.
I'm looking at it now. Fernan actually set a fastest first lap. Fastest first sector. Where is that going to put him in the standings? Does Fernan have pole? Fernan. Okay, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Fernan does improve on his time, but it doesn't give him any extra positions. However, out of all the times he could have got, he gets a 108 dead. That is something you almost never see when it comes to setting times. Like, the norm is just 1-0 something, 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 something. But, like, you never expect anything out of those first 3 digits. But it's particularly impressive to get it, like, completely evenly rounded down to the 1,000th. Wouldn't you say? Wait. What? Yeah, I see this, the dev. I see this. But yeah, there's only 4 minutes left. There's only 4 more minutes left to go. It's not looking like any of the drivers have that much pace to challenge it. But Dom does get a green first sector. This could be good for the Ferrari wingman if he's able to close it out, and it'll mean more good news for Ferrari overall. But also, wait, what's this? Critical sets a lap time, but Critical sets a lap time, but it's a tie between him and Falcon.
Oh.
What do you think the teams are gonna say about this? Of course, ignoring the fact that Dom did end up like just flat out crashing there, but like, what do you think the stewards are gonna do about that tie? Because with that little bit of space, that small little gap could decide the battle between Fernan and Critical. So, pardon my puns, but the choice they make could be critical for the future going forward. What do you think they're going to say about that?
Well, all I know is that the two teams are going to be arguing over who's going to get second spot on the grid. But to see, once again, times being identical in qualifying, it just really shows just how the competitive the grid is in Romula One, and it makes me really, really, really happy as a commentator to see this.
So yeah, on top of that, the drivers do only have a few laps to go to improve on it. Of all drivers, Sylvie actually had a green first sector, but he wasn't able to do anything about it. But hey, what's this? The person who's currently leading qualifying, Outguard, has a green first sector. If he follows up on this, he could shut down the qualifying even more, considering he's been leading it pretty much the entire time. You almost never see someone earning a flying lap at the start and then having that stand for the entire session. So that lap must have been something special. But yeah, heading into the last couple corners, Outguard is looking to improve on his time even more. Now, whether he's going to do it is in the question, because at this point he's beaten the Falcons qualifying time twice. Does he improve on it even more? No, he doesn't. But to be fair, considering how solid his time is already, that he didn't really need to do it anyway. And now looking at the
sorry to interrupt you there, but did you just see the Alfa Romeo flying into the air there on the broadcast? He hit the rumble strips at the corner, just went flying. If we can get a replay of that, that would be really great.
Yeah, I'd be able to see the live stream if it's a replay too.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see.
So we're looking at it.
And there we go. Flying into the air.
Alfa Romeo have moon shoes on. But yeah, another thing that's quite bizarre. The last two digits of the podium qualifiers times are all point something 41. So like, I don't know. I just think that's cool, and considering that all the drivers pretty much just have one more chance to improve on that time. What else is there to say? But Gnome crosses the line. It's a faster time for him, but it doesn't quite get him any more spots overall. And now looking at looking at the people
he's currently improving. Sector 1, green sector 1. Not sure about sector 2. Let's see if we can see what he's going to do in the second sector. We'll find out in just a moment.
I was about to mention but I do think he also has to slipstream from the Mercedes, so that's going to help. He doesn't particularly improve in the second sector, but if he can just close that out, he may just have the lead on Fernan, where like. Wait, no, he taps the curb a little bit. Whether that's gonna... Okay, that's definitely gonna impact his time.
Ooh, that's his lap gone.
But yeah, there's one more...
Another chance.
Okay, there's one more lap there's one more lap for all of the drivers to compete, and it's Fernand's only chance to see if he can get a better overall time. But wait, no. Wait, no, Fernand's outside of it. He isn't attempting any more qualifying laps. But now, all eyes are on all eyes right now are on Falcon, as Falcon is the person who's currently second in qualifying. He hasn't been particularly setting any better times, but he still has one more lap to improve on it. But also, Dom, he nearly clips the side. The McLaren ahead does. He also had an extremely solid first sector. Is this going to impact the standings at all? Where is everyone going to be by the end of the McLaren and the Ferrari crossing the line? Dom improves his position to fifth place, right next to his Ferrari teammate, and also a little bit of sad news for the AlphaTauri. But now there's questions in the air. What are the stewards going to say about Falcon and Critical? If you were to ask me, I would probably say that Falcon should deserve that position because Falcon was the one who got the faster time. I mean, no, not the faster time. Falcon was the one who got that time first. So I think it's probably who gets the time first. Yeah, but also,
I would.
Go on, continue.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I would agree with you. I would agree with you there. Falcon should be second, as he was the first one of the two to set the lap time. Critical was second, so he should start third.
So
I also want to take your attention to another couple who set the same lap times. Zed Neo and Nomi set 108.833 on 11th and 12th.
We're gonna have to flick through the VOD. Who got that time first? Because that's extremely weird. Because the first time that there's a matching time it happens not once but twice.
Crazy to think that.
But yeah, I suppose what's important here is that the two people fighting over the championship, Critical and Fernan, are on the same row. But while they are there, Critical has the high ground. But whether that high ground is gonna last into the race and whether his pace is gonna reflect on that, that's still in the question. We're gonna have to wait for the race to begin.
And for the constructor standings, Red Bull do have the advantage, out-qualifying both Ferraris. And all they have to do this weekend is outscore Ferrari by just one single point. And that gives them the World Championship for Constructors for Season 3.
And, well, to be fair, considering how strong the pace for the Ferraris have been... Oh, wait, hold on. We just got an announcement for how many laps this is going to go through, because apparently this is going to last for 40 laps. I guess that is fair, considering the laps only take about a minute 10 on average, let's say, when the drivers are out there. But yeah, pretty interesting decision by the stewards. What do you have to say about that?
It is a very interesting decision by the stewards indeed. Because this is 40 laps, that makes it the longest race by lap count this season so far.
And to be fair, when there are that many laps in the race, qualifying kind of doesn't matter. Well, at least it does matter a little bit, but nowhere near as much as it would for another kind of race, you know. And now after all of this, I think that we're now waiting for the drivers to line up on the grid. So much will be decided in this race. Whether Ferrari win the constructors or whether Red Bull hold on to it. Whether Fernand will have the advantage going into the final race or Critical. And I'm pretty sure there was a season. Wait, quick question. One of these two have actually been a world champion already. Was it Fernand or Critical? I think it was Fernand.
Neither of them have been a world champion, actually. The only recognized champion in this league is Prime Drifter.
I must have gotten that mixed up. And is Prime Drifter driving right now? Because I don't see his name in the list.
Yeah, he's on the grid.
Oh wait, what team is he on?
Well, I don't think he's racing this weekend because he's not on the timing board. So I think he's taking the week off.
So, what team's he on?
Aston Martin.
Right.
On the left-hand side, you'll see his name.
Oh, right. That's
See?
fair.
Yeah.
Though I think it is. So yeah, teammates of the guy who sent weird stuff in the general chat. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But either way, the drivers are lining up now. It's been a particularly good qualifying session for McLaren, as they were able to get their star driver all the way up to second. They actually had a good chance to take home a win in the previous race. But now they have a better chance than ever, considering where they are on the qualifying grid. But also, with the exception of Falcon being there, it's both of the Red Bull drivers are together, both of the Ferrari drivers are together, and then from there it's sort of a mishmash of a bunch of different drivers. That's how you can tell that a specific team has pace.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And a big mishmash of the grid always gets me excited because, it's always good to see, it's always good to see strange names sitting higher up in the, towards the mid high ground of the grid, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
In the good points positions. It's good to see that.
Last time we had ASM, the Haas driver, having an extremely close battle with Lance, and he actually ended up taking the podium over him in probably one of the most dramatic last laps I think I've ever seen. There's actually a countdown going on right now that just went off. I don't know what it's referring to. I'm guessing this countdown is for when the race is going to begin.
I would say so.
Yeah, there's a lot of drivers that aren't on the grid right now.
That actually reminds me. Let's see if we can get some. Let's see if we can get some interviews from qualifying. Let's see if we can get Outguard.
Okay, wait, hold on. We're getting an update as to what everyone's compounds are, or rather, that was a glitch, because I think I saw two of the drivers putting on inters. Huh? It's not even. Either I'm confused. Either I'm completely confused, or there's forecast to be rain on this, which I'm not too sure about. Okay, so there's interviews happening in the commentary channel, and who do we have coming on the stage?
That was me that sent that. That was me. I sent that.
Yeah, do we have anyone on the stage?
I just wanted to speak to Outguard about his pole position.
Oh, okay. So, do we have Outguard on stage? Ground.
You must use 2 different tire compounds at least during this race, or it's disqualification. Ooh.
That adds some interesting strategy, especially considering that most teams, whenever they drive tracks, only go for a one stop. We saw it last week with pretty much every single team. So, will that be repeated today? Oh no! Wait, hold on. Are we going to see? Are we? Considering that they are somewhat forcing themselves into using those extra compounds, I wonder if that'll lead to anything.
Lane closing at 37 minutes past the hour. If you're not on the grid, then you'll be doing a pit start.
And that's pretty much indicated to all of the drivers to hurry up now, as they're fitting on the tires and then making it out there, like, real quick. But yeah, we're now just sort of waiting for the other drivers to come over, and the people that we were going to interview, they just haven't shown up. So who can we get to interview? I don't know. There's sort of silence in the booth, as now considering that there's close to only 2 minutes left. I don't think we'd be able to cram an interview into that time. So it happens.
I'm just going for text interviews. Falcon says that, or is that ASM? That's Falcon.
No, that was Falcon. Falcon's up here. Well, you know what they say. It's not starting. Where is it? Well, there it is. Like, did I miss the play button there? I thought that, whatever. But yeah, with only just a bit over a minute before the race starts, I've got a wait. Someone's actually. Hmm? You were interviewing someone? Huh.
I was actually. I was trying to do a text interview with Critical
Huh. Well, it
on the
seems
grid
like we
interviews.
don't have enough time to like properly start an interview now. The
No, we
race
don't.
is about to begin. We've got instructions from the stewards to jump up out and into the car so they can refresh themselves. I think without the pit limiter. Is that what's happening here?
Mhm.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. And now, with a minute to go, shall we go over the starting grid for today's race?
All right then. I'd say you go over it. So you do the
So
grid. I'll
pole
do the
position,
starting
it's
order.
going to be Outguard, and then it's Falcon second, Critical third, Fernand fourth, Bumji fifth, Ratia sixth, Lance Droid seventh. And there's the AlphaTauri teammate 8th, ASM 9th, and Deferred starts in 10th position. And I don't have time to go through the rest of the grid because we've just got the R, the R signal, which means ready.
All right. So now, with the drivers now standing still, there's anticipation in the air. The championship could be decided by this race, and every car is waiting for those 5 red lights. Can Ferrari bring back the pace they had in the Project Apex Championship into here? Because they'll need it when it's lights out.
No!
And away we go. It's what's his name? It's what's his name? The other Red Bull starting out quite well. Falcon doesn't particularly have the pace as Ratia actually shoots through the standings, almost immediately making it to third, and now undercutting Falcon to get second. The leading Red Bull is actually making quite a lot of mistakes after such a sudden charge from the AlphaTauri of Ratia. Like, considering that he's battling Falcon right now, who qualified in second, I did not expect him to get a 4-position jump just like that.
Yeah, it was a really great start indeed for Ratia. It's so good to see him up into third. He nearly, in theory, made it a Red Bull 1-2. Let's see, but I think he's on the soft. No, he's on the medium compound tires. He's on the same tires as the leader, so he's not. This is just raw pace. He's not here. He's not here because of the tires. He's here because he got the start, and he's fast enough to keep it for now.
Yeah, he's not messing around.
Look at the Ferrari going around the outside of Ratia. I wonder who that is. Is that Fernand or is that's Fernand? Fernand's now getting back up into third place, and there's a Mercedes getting involved as well. I think that might be Lance. We've got a big battle going on for second here between 4 drivers as we complete the first lap of this race.
Yeah, and from the way it's looking in the standings, at least for the championship, it's seeming like Fernand's race right now. The more points he can get, the more leverage he has for the overall championship. But Falcon is also seemingly leading the group behind quite nicely, at least for the DRS train leading up to Outguard. But he does tap the curb quite a bit. Falcon almost immediately losing the pace he had as he drops place after place after place after such a small mistake. The drivers are scrapping now with the Ferrari of Fernand leading them, but also Lance Droid is not giving up the kind of pace that he has, especially considering that the Mercedes team outside of the previous 2 races haven't had that much pace over the whole season, and Lance wants to give them their first win after they were snuffed from their first podium in the previous race.
Yeah, and Lance Droid indeed has made a brilliant start, but the thing is, he is on the soft compound tires, so the real question is, wait a second, first of all, I think I just saw the Ferrari drop off a little bit there. Lance Droid got some kind of boost as we came down the main straight to start the 3rd lap of this race, and I think he's within DRS range of Outguard. Yep, DRS is now enabled, so if he can keep this gap, he might have DRS, and who knows, maybe he'll take the race lead before the 4th lap.
That would actually be kind of... Goes over the curb multiple times! I told you that this track was extremely tricky, and if the drivers aren't watching out, they're gonna lose paces just from taking it a little bit too wide. This isn't like most tracks. Over having really good pace, you have to make sure that you don't make those crucial mistakes, because when another driver's there, they're sure as hell gonna be under the pressure of that as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And look at the top 4 now. It's Red Bull, Ferrari, Red Bull, Ferrari. Oh, there goes Chris.
It was critical. It was critical.
No, it was Outguard. It was Outguard. Outguard spun around through 180 degrees, and now Fernand leads the way. on lap 3, coming on to lap 4, it's going to be Critical versus Fernand for the lead of the race, and therefore the lead of the World Championship. Oh my goodness me!
Yeah, what a
How have the
ridiculous
tables
way for
turned?
what a ridiculous way for this to shape up. Those like little ramps that are on the side of the track really are deciding a lot. And if any of the championship leaders aren't careful, that could be devastating for the overall results. Lance, after tapping the curves, is trying to keep it as clean as possible, trying to take a tighter line compared to everyone else. He has DRS, so maybe he'll be able to find a spot to cut into the lead from everyone else. But he also now has the DRS of Falcon, ASN, who are now chasing him. As Raya is in the battle as well, and so is, coming out of absolutely nowhere, the Alpine of the third. That's kind of a thing for the third, honestly. Jumping out of nowhere to end up in everyone's DRS trains. It happened in the last race.
Say that Ferrari. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Ferrari have just turned this race into a 1-2 for the team. Domji's leading Fernand. In fact, no, it's wheel to wheel between the two Ferraris. Fernand has the DRS. He takes the lead from his teammate. And now it's no longer Ferrari 1-2, as there goes Landstroid. He's trying to take the race lead. Is it going to work? No, it doesn't. Not quite. He'll have to sit back and try again later.
But there is a DRS zone really close nearby, so if he can keep things clean, he might have the chance to get ahead of Fernand. And also, looking at the back of the grid, no, not at the back of the grid, but looking at the back of the pack, a really unexpected sight, and as now an Aston Martin joins the DRS train. Aston Martin have had some really bad races beforehand, not necessarily being able to get much out of the car's pace. But maybe with them even being in the DRS train, that may be all they need to get a better result for the team and overall boost them in the Constructors' Championships.
Oh, absolutely, and their fight this season is with McLaren. They're currently sitting about 35 points. They're sitting 35 points behind the third placed outfit. So if they can score good points, then they can keep their third place hopes alive going into the final race.
Okay, now all four of the drivers and also Falcon are all really close together. Who's gonna make it out in the lead? I don't know if that was Domo or Vernon, but there's also Landstroid who has some really good pace as well. If he can get some good slipstream or DRS, the Mercedes might be leading the race going into the next lap. But all of the drivers are conjoined to only a 1 second gap. And it's really just a case of, who taps the curve first. But it looks like Landstroid just proved that it was going to be him.
Spun around there. It is Domji. Domji just spun around and he's dropped all the way back. And now it's completely even Stevens between Ferrari and Red Bull for the constructors.
Honestly, that was the last thing the Ferrari wanted, considering how close everything is. But now, after all of that, with the Aston Martin's increased pace, it's actually ahead of both of the McLaren drivers. They need to find some kind of pace before they get pegged a little bit down in that championship battle. It's seeming like they have it. Who's going to get the most DRS? Who's going to get the most slipstream out of this? Will it be one of the McLarens? Will it be the Alfa? Will it be the Aston Martin? It's looking like Lance has the most speed going out of it as he finishes in the podiums for the groups, completely tying with ASM as well.
That's one of the Aston Martins spinning out, losing a little bit of control there, and dropping back behind the McLarens. And speaking of the McLarens, that Aston Martin has managed to split the two of them. He's plopped up into fifth now, and it looks like someone's dropped down from. No, never mind. I think that was Domji from earlier. Sorry, I get confused by the leaderboard sometimes.
Yeah, that happens. And also, Landstroid does actually tap the curb a little bit again, even though he's on the soft compound. I think if I was Landstroid, I would less so worry about pace now and more so worry about getting as far away from the sides of the road as possible. As Lance completely takes it way too wide on one of the corners. Fortunately, that didn't have any of the bumps in it, because if it did, that may have been the end of his battle right then and there. So I would less so worry about going fast. As I I say that, it's the McLaren of Falcon, I think that was, who taps the curb that Lance nearly taps. Maybe Lance could learn from the Os mistakes as well, as he's starting to get some good pace as well. Although ASM, who got in third place in the previous race, but is now driving for McLaren, is also right next to the leaders, almost leading, but also being just behind Ferdinand and Critical, who at the starting line are only a single millisecond against each other. And considering that only half a point separates them, this could not be closer. Who is going to get DRS coming into here? It's seeming like, yes, something must have happened, because all three of them got DRS despite nobody being ahead. Everyone is basically at a like gunpoint showdown of who is going to tap the bumps first. None of the other drivers have given in, but as we've seen from Launchtroid, there's no saying how long that's going to last.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of the big fight, the freeway fight has now turned into a four-way fight as the Aston Martin of Zedneo has joined the lot of them. ASM currently leads the way from Critical in second. The Aston Martin's plopped up into third place. Fernand's now dropped down to fourth. No Games has apparently got a blue flag. Oh, the Aston Martin's just lost a little bit of control there.
He's able to recover it quite nicely, but he does understand we're going back to fourth. And at the same time, ASM actually has some incredible pace, despite the McLaren not necessarily having that many moments like this.
And just seeing the replay there, the car went a little bit wide. He jumped over the curb there, and now he's dropped back down to fourth behind the leading trio, but not far enough behind, so he's involved with the chasing pack. He's got DRS on the McLaren here, so he's got a chance to keep. He definitely has a big chance of getting a podium tonight.
And if we're focusing on everyone at the same time, while we were focusing on those ones, Launchtroid now all of a sudden is 9 seconds down on the other drivers. Now we didn't see what happened to Lance, but I think we can probably all use our imagination as to what happened. He wasn't watching for the curbs. He tapped them, and he paid the ultimate price for it.
Yeah, it's just wait. Was that the AlphaTauri spinning around there? I think that was maybe Ratya. That was Ratya. He's now dropped behind the Mercedes, and I think Domji as well. I don't think we can get a replay of that, but...
Oh, wait, what's this? The second DRS train has almost caught up with the main DRS train. This could be huge for some of the people in the group, because this could bring Falcon back into the battle. This could bring Outguard back into the battle. It could even bring F1 Fan into the battle for the first time. We'll just have to see if this DRS train ends up getting united. We're looking at Falcon. Do they have DRS? Yes, they do. And now there's a second group who are now connecting with the main ones. Who is going to be able to make the most use out of this gain? We're just going to have to see as the next couple laps commence.
Goodness me, your blood pressure must be through the roof right now from what you are seeing. I might have to kick you out the booth if it gets any higher.
Don't worry. If it does, there'll probably be a distinctly red-shaped explosion coming from the paddock. I mean, no red-shaped.
That would be funny. Anyways, Fernand currently leads the way from Critical in second, ASM third, and then there's Zedneo in fourth. The second DRS train is not quite close enough to the main DRS train, but being only 1.3 seconds behind, not impossible for them to catch up to the leading group.
But as we saw at the beginning of the lap as well, ASM is actually taking it so tight around the bumps that he was actually very slightly tilted going over one of them. Not enough to completely avoid them, but just enough for it to not decrease his pace. I think he was making a statement there that he is aware of these curbs and he is not going to tap them.
Sorry, I was just writing a message to somebody, but yeah, whatever you said there, I agree with.
Yeah, I was just mainly mentioning how tight ASM is taking it, considering he's rubbing against the curves, but not enough for it to tap him. Just enough for him to have the most optimal pace. And also, the Aston Martin also has quite a lot of speed as well. He's going forward. Is he going to be able to be ahead of the Ferrari by the end of the lap? Yes, he is.
Yeah,
it's ZX saw now leading the race after such an incredible speed burst. But ASM clearly has something to say about it as he's starting to catch up. Zednex actually has so much speed that he has to briefly go. I mean, Neo. I'll just say Neo. Okay, Neo actually has too much speed to avoid not going on the grass. And no, he unites back with everyone else. That was an incredible bit of speed from the Aston Martins right there, immediately jumping from 4th to 1st. Wait, did you just see something?
I don't know if you saw that, but it was for that one brief moment. It was absolutely free abreast going into the hairpin just there. Literally, the Aston Martin, Ferrari, McLaren, all side by side, going into that corner. I didn't know who was going to be ahead. I was just like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
And also, let's just really reflect on what's going on in the championship battle right now. The two people who are basically leading the championship are right next to each other in a DRS train of 3 other drivers who are looking to get a win. What do you think is going through their heads in this particular moment right now?
I honestly would love to know what's going through their heads. Literally, any one of these 4 drivers can get a win today, and 2 of them don't even have a win.
Yeah, and looking at it.
So if one of the 2 drivers who don't have a win get a win today, that would just be amazing for Romula One.
But yeah, and also, even though he does have 1 win, or really few wins, Neo's last win was all the way back in the first season of the sport. So if he's able to get it here again, that would be a record for the biggest gap between a race winner spanning what I'm pretty sure is 2 entire seasons worth of races. So if Neo can win in this, that is going down in the history books.
Absolutely. I don't think Neo's been on the Romula One grid before, from what I've seen. Let me just do a quick fact search.
No, someone sent me a message. They said the Neo's last win was in Cairo in season 1. And also, he's starting to get a pretty nice bit of DRS, and he's leading the race going into the next lap again. But here comes ASM with even more speed. Almost every single driver in the leading group within half a second of each other. Absolutely nothing has been decided with the group. An F1 fan who was initially in the second DRS train gutted that he's not going to be in that group fighting for his first win. But he's also hoping and praying with crossed fingers that ASM is going to do it for him.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate for F1 fan to not be there, considering how close the second DRS train was to the main DRS train just a couple laps ago.
Yeah, I think the only thing that came out of that was that it brought Outguard into the main group, and considering he was on pole position, I feel like it's about time that he was in the group, considering his pace.
And I just hope that this group of 5 cars can stay like this all the way to the end, because it's going to make some great content for Romula One.
Exactly.
Really great content.
And also, let me avert your attention to that one rule again, where all the teams need to use at least 2 tire compounds. No one has done any pit stops yet. I can imagine at one point they'll probably want to use the softs to get a little bit of pace out of that little rule, if that is the case. So, when do you think they're going to pit?
Probably sometime. I'm going to say between lap 17 and lap 20 for the hard compound tires for the top 5. Because, I mean, they have to be on 2 tire compounds. They're on the mediums. That counts as 1 compound. So they can do a 1-stop and go on to the hards, and then that'll be fine for them.
Because the thing is, the drivers are extremely close here, but because of how heavy the aerodynamics are, the true statements for the track, like the true proof of where everyone is going to be set when they go to the pits, and when they're not equally going to be keeping on boosting each other into like first and then third and then second and then first and then fourth and then first. You know, it's when they're able to break out of that loop that things are going to truly happen. We see both of the Red Bull drivers and Fernan going into the pits. I think the fact that the McLaren and the Aston Martin are out could be quite odd from that perspective. I was actually confused initially because I only just remembered that you can pit with 2 cars in this. You don't have to wait for one to the over.
Wait a second. I think the Red Bulls are doing a two-stopper here because they've just gone onto the mediums again.
Yeah, I would have expected them to go with the softs, considering that they need pace right now. But also, another interesting choice, Fernan is going with the hards. I don't see why you would need hards here if you're going to be using another compound near the end. Does he plan to switch to softs right at the end? What's his plan here?
I think Fernand's just going to be going to the end of this because he's met the two-tire compound rule. He started on the mediums and now he's on the hards. That's two-tire compounds and he's sorted. He can go to the end. He can go to the end on these tires.
Oh, right. It's two compounds, not two pit stops. Right. That was completely my mistake.
So ASM is currently on the mediums. He started on those.
Hold up. I'm actually no. The two other leaders are going into the pits, but I'm also getting some word from the stewards. That being that Fernan has a 2-second time penalty for speeding into the pit entry. That's the last thing he wanted to hear in a championship battle. And now his potential fight is in absolute jeopardy as now the McLarens and the Aston Martins are going in for their pits. Where are they going to be once it's exited? F1 Fan is currently leading, but I don't know if that's going to be for long. Looking at the grid, who's going to be leading by the end of it? The two Red Bulls are approaching, and it's the two Red Bulls of Critical and Outguard who are now leading the race. But also Fernan has already served his little penalty, and it doesn't look like it entirely shook him up that much. He's only really with the McLarens and the Aston Martins, but if he wants to win this race, considering that he's been put in a separate DRS train to the two Red Bulls that are leading, he needs to make pace now. Because right now, It's looking like a podium battle for third, and Fernan can't be accepting that in this kind of a championship battle.
Yeah, they absolutely need to start fighting now, and like literally oh my god, I've lost my train of words. It's just that when you're so focused on the race at hand, you sometimes forget what to talk about. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the steward sent me another message to say that there was the penalty and everything. But yeah, I did mention it. Okay, now the Red Bulls are giving each other DRS. How far ahead are they going to be from Neo? That's about a 4-second gap that they have to work with. The other drivers have a lot to close up on, and considering one of them aren't using softs, they may have just doomed each other to not be able to catch up to Critical, as now all Critical needs to do is just perform. And considering that he hasn't touched any of the bumps yet, the real question is if that's going to remain for the Red Bull drivers as Critical. Also doing the thing that ASM did earlier, where he was driving across the little bump to really set a statement as to how the race is going.
And the Red Bulls at this stage of the race will need to be quick but careful because they are going to need to make a second pit stop, and that will give Fernan the advantage going into the second half of this race. But now the question is, when are the two Red Bulls going to stop again?
I'm not entirely sure, especially considering that they need to make the most out of the other drive. Oh, what an incredible recovery from Neo! His car almost flips, but without losing a full second, it then snaps itself back onto the road. What a brilliant move from him! He barely loses any time from that. Honestly, that was impressive. That right there is a highlight.
I will need to see a replay of that if we've got that, because from what I'm hearing from you, it sounded absolutely incredible. I wasn't watching the broadcast. I was watching the little battle going on between the two Red Bull drivers. I really should be watching the broadcast more.
Yeah, it looked like he hit a Tony Hawk trick there. That's really what it looked like. But now, here's the real question. Is the Aston Martin or the McLaren or even the Ferrari going to be able to keep up with the Red Bulls? Because if one of them can keep up with them, that would join the slipstream train with everyone else. And then the battle is going to be the same between all the other drivers, as it's looking like the Red Bulls had the best exit out of the pits, and none of the other three drivers are particularly being able to break through. If all of them can somehow get at DRS at once, which isn't impossible, then they may just have a shot at it. But considering the Neo did also slightly tap the curbs again, I'm not too sure. But now it's ASM getting a lead over the Alpha. I mean, no, over the Aston Martin, and now the Red Bulls made a half a second over them in that initial lap. And with ASM leading, ASM looks like he has far more pace than Neo does. And if he can make use of that, he may be able to close the gap between them. And also another thing to note between the Red Bulls, they were actually able to finish dead on the line halfway into the race. At this point, I think they're showboating, particularly to say, hey, we don't know which one of us are going to win. Literally, look at the times.
Well, yeah, I never actually noticed that the Red Bulls were dead on, neck and neck across the line. So I'm really glad you pointed that out. So yeah, the gap between them and the car in third is 5 seconds. And like you said before, if the guys behind can catch up to the Red Bulls, which do need to stop again, then it's gonna make a hell of a finish.
Yeah. Neo actually gets a pretty good line. Who's gonna get DRS out of it? Both the Ferrari and the McLaren get DRS. Did they make up time? No, they're an entire second down from the previous lap. They're starting to lose pace on the Red Bulls. If one of those free drivers don't have the ability to bring themselves faster, I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be able to keep up with them at all, regardless of pit stop. Oh, and there's another little bit of a tap from Neo. He is particularly taking it very risky with those bumps. Wait, there's actually a reset for the timer. What? Clearly, I'm missing something.
It's the fastest lap now. Not sure why the timer was reset, but
maybe
yes, Falcon has the fastest lap of the race now.
Yeah, I guess, but who knows how long that's gonna last. But yeah, as we were saying beforehand, I can't see how close they were getting on this lap, but the Aston Martin, who taps the curb again, the Ferrari and the McLaren, all need good pace going into this. The Ferrari of Fernan gets DRS on the McLaren, and along with the Aston Martin, they're now 6 seconds behind. Will they be able to make any additional pace going into the next sections? We'll have to see going into the next section. But also, out at front, even though it is critical and Outguard having quite a duel, I can imagine that there's going to be a call from Red Bull, if Outguard is leading by the end of it, to let Critical win the race, because these are critical championship points that he would be missing out on if they didn't have that kind of team coordination. So really, I'm pretty sure that Outguard is basically just making sure that there's that gap there, and also giving Critical DRS.
First of all, if that was a pun, that was a good pun. And second, yeah, you're right. Red Bull do need Critical to be out in front in order for him to get the maximum points against Fernan, who currently on my screen is sitting in 5th position. If we can switch to their little fight on the broadcast, please. Yes, we can. There he is. See, there's Fernan. He's just sitting behind the Aston Martin and the McLaren, who are currently running 3rd, 4th, and 5th. This is the battle for the 3rd spot on the podium. It may not. Sure, it's not the fight for the win, but it's equally as good though.
Yeah, especially considering that for this lap they actually had pace that was quicker than the Red Bulls. If they can keep up with that, then by maybe lap 27 or 28, they will have caught up and they will end up in that DRS train. Like I was saying, there are now, or I wasn't saying, but as I'm saying right now, there are 17 laps of leeway that they have. If they can make just a little bit of pace for each lap, then by the end of it all, they will have joined back into that DRS train, and that right there would be crucial for the entire championship. As Fernan actually gets the bug where there's actually an extra 0 added on the end of his time. Get a look at that. It's always funny when that happens.
That only happens if they set a dead time like we see now, 6.1000.
Okay, will they have made pace on the Red Bulls this lap? Ooh, they don't quite make any pace on the Red Bulls as it's seemingly even, but they do actually see the Red Bulls just a little bit up the road. Whether that's a sign of them getting close or not, we'll have to see. As from my perspective, the McLaren and the Aston Martin are both going at lightning speeds now. Like I'm pretty sure not even the Red Bulls were going that quick. Like, sheesh, that looked quick. But I will both ASM and especially Neo are benefiting from the DRS and the slipstream of the other drivers, just like the Red Bulls. But this group has an extra driver to assure that all of them can have DRS. Because honestly, I think Ferdinand shares the same goal as ASM and Neo to basically just catch up to the Red Bulls by any means necessary. And considering that the Red Bulls are an ice shot for these drivers, they're only getting closer and closer. And if one of them are to drop,
whoa,
like Neo did when he caught the curb, that won't necessarily bode the best for them. But they had solid pace throughout the rest of that, and ASM maintained it. Are they getting closer? Ooh, not necessarily with any more progress made, as Neo actually makes up that deficit thanks to the DRS. ASM probably would have been a lot better off if he was the one that had DRS, as they probably could have made a little bit more progress. But missing out on the McLaren having the DRS, not quite the thing they wanted to hear, and especially not the thing that Ferdinand wanted to hear.
Just looking at the lap times, comparing the times to the Red Bulls, ASM's last lap 1:10.791, Critical Noob's last lap 1:11.3. So ASM was 0.6 of a second faster on the last lap than the current on-screen championship leader was.
Yeah, very impressive from the McLarens. They really are cutting very high above their weight. If Neo goes fast enough, they may even have DRS to get a little bit closer. Wait, did one of the Red Bulls make a mistake, or is that just another driver? Oh, it's one of the back market drivers. That could be huge for the group if they can all collectively get DRS at the same time. Not quite, but Neo does get DRS too. If they're able to get some extra slipstream off Launch Droid, that may help them in the overall chase. However, I don't think that this DRS chain can entirely rely on Neo anymore. Considering that Neo has been making consistent mistake after consistent mistake, I'm thinking that if there's going to be anyone that catches up to the Red Bulls, it's going to be ASM. And considering that he's probably going to get a little bit of it. Oh my word! What was that? I have never in my whole life seen a car flip like that. And just from that mistake alone, just from that mistake alone, where ASM misjudges it, goes onto the curbs and flips his car twice. The group now goes from 3 cars to 2, and it's all up to Neo to be able to catch up. Again, it's absolute disaster for McLaren, and it's now down to Aston Martin and Ferrari to see if they can catch back up to the leading 2. As slowly but surely, Fernand's championship hopes are getting a lot tighter.
Oh, absolutely. He will be happy to know that Critical Noob is in 2nd at the moment, and that ASM is down behind him in 5th. Fernand needs all the points he can get in the closing stages. He needs to get all the positions he can get in the closing stages of this race, because it's the position that it's the position that you're in when the checkered flag is waved where the points are awarded.
And also, ASM also got the funny bug as well with the other 3 zeros. So that's neat.
Yeah, I can see.
But yeah, considering ASM by far had the best pace out of that group, having him entirely been at that corner was probably the last thing that they wanted, and now he has to work to get that position back.
Yeah.
Okay, so
we can see an AlphaTauri getting lapped here. That's right, yeah.
Oh, and another group mistake from what was his name? Neo. Neo taps the curb again. Fernand is, Fernand or Fernand or whatever it is, can't exactly rely on this kind of a driver for 3 DRS. So he's trying to break free of the train himself to see if he can make pace with the 12 laps that are remaining. Because do remember, Fernand is the only one who decided to go out on hards. Oh, no, we finally... That was a very nice recovery from Neo, but he can't just be doing mistake and then recovery, mistake and then recovery. If he wants pace, he needs to prove that he can get this pace, because I think him being next to Fernand, if anything, is pretty much saying how Fernand can't catch up to everyone else. And it's starting to make things look more and more hopeless for the Ferrari driver. As what seemed like his previous ally is now challenging him for podium points.
Yep, these two are going to be scrapping away for the podium for the rest of the race, whilst the two Red Bulls run away at the front of the field. And there goes Fernand diving into the pit lane.
Going into the pits. Is this going to be a fairly fast pit? Or is this going to cost him getting into the DRS train again? We'll have to see as he pulls up how fast is his pit stop going to be. Hopefully it's a good pit stop from the Ferrari team. It looked particularly solid for me.
Don't look away. I guess we don't know. It's too fast.
I'll look over to see how fast it was. I don't know either, but hopefully it was a good lap time for Fernand. But now he's on the soft compound. Fernand flat out switching to the softs to see if he can make pace with those extra grippy tires in a last-ditch effort to try and catch up to both Critical and Deferred. As now, Neo doesn't have the benefit of someone else to latch onto DRS for, so he might just be losing his position the more seconds go on. And as you said before, the Red Bulls do still have to pit. If Fernand can get some really good DRS-less pace, then he might still have a chance. He could still have a chance to give himself more leverage in this championship battle. Are we going to see any more pits this lap? Okay, one of the McLarens are pitting. I think that's ASM going into the pits. How fast is the pit stop going to be? Oh no, it's Falcon actually. Falcon's going into the pits. So and considering how far behind he is, that's not going to have too much effect on anything. Unless Fernand can get DRS from behind him, that could be pretty huge for him, considering he needs.
Fernand does have DRS. He does. He's just gotten past Zedneo, I think, unless that's somebody else.
Oh
never
yeah.
Mind, I'm looking at Doji.
Wait, no, it was F1 fan. F1 fan was just a little bit behind him, so he was able to get some DRS off that, increasing his pace as well. But I don't think F1 fan is going to be able to catch up to him. If he can, that means nothing but good news for Fernand, as he's going to be able to get more DRS from that. Ooh, but as F1 fan taps the curb, it's looking like he's not going to get that. It's looking like that little DRS boost for the Ferrari was going to be a one-time thing. Okay, but there is also a okay, Dev, I'm gonna. Wait, no, both of the Red Bulls are pitting. This could be a crucial moment that decides the championship right here. Are they both gonna have particularly fast pit stops? That was a 1.84 from Critical. That was an incredible pit stop from one of them.
That was Critical Noob. He set a 1.84 second pit stop. That's one of the fastest pit stops we've ever seen in Romula One.
Yeah, and the timing couldn't be better considering what they're up against. But looking further back on the grid, is that Fernand approaching to them? Or is that F1 fan? I'm not too sure. No, it's Fernand. Fernand, who now has all the softs, is now 10 seconds behind the Red Bulls. This is starting to look more and more hopeless the longer it goes on, as Fernand doesn't have any way to get DRS. He's just going to have to rely on pure pace if he wants to catch up to the Red Bulls. And considering he just tapped a curb there, that might have just lost him a little bit of crucial speed. He does it again. I think Fernand is starting to crack under the pressure of being behind the championship leaders in this manner.
And not just one position behind them, 2 positions behind. So he's going to score 10 less points than what Critical Noob is going to score out in front. Critical will score 25. Does he have the fastest lap? No, he doesn't. That belongs to Outguard. So Red Bull at the moment are going to get absolute maximum points. But what Fernand does have is the second fastest lap. Oh, there goes Fernand. He's going to hit the sausage curbs again.
Like I said, Fernand is making mistake after mistake after mistake. If he ends up completely destroying his car, the championship could end in this race. Granted, it would be very anticlimactic, but it's not out of the question.
That's literally what I said. I said mistake after mistake after mistake. Who knew? Who knew we were thinking of the same thing at the same time?
Yeah, we were on the same wavelength.
Probably, like a Bluetooth connection.
But yeah, if something like a safety car doesn't end up happening, then we might end up seeing this as the final race results. But also, Fernan within eye shot of the Red Bulls, it might be a 10-second gap, but just from him seeing them, that may just give him a little bit of hope that he'll be able to catch up. But with only about 9 laps to go and him being 10 seconds behind, he needs to make a second a lap to have a guaranteed shot at it. Oh, and the leaderboards are reset. Okay. Okay, the Red Bulls crossed the line, but it's looking to me like Fernan actually had a particularly good lap there. There's also a back marker. Oh, hey, hold on. Fernan actually made 2 seconds in that lap. Either both of the Red Bulls made a synchronized mistake, or Fernan is going on an absolute monstrous pace. And look at he sets the fastest first sector. He is not taking any prisoners for Fernan. He is not leaving anything on the table, and now Outguard is actually outside of the DRS zone for Critical Noob. Oh. Critical Noob isn't going to be able to benefit off of his DRS anymore if he can't catch up. But and looking at Outguard, I don't think he even got DRS to bring that back. So it's not over for Fernan. If he can keep this incredible pace, he might be able to undercut in the dying laps. And looking at some of the splits he's got in this particular lap, he's not necessarily got a faster sector from them on the first one, but he had a little bit of time to kill from that. And if Fernan can keep things consistent and not tap any of the curbs, he might still have a chance, especially considering that again, there is an Aston Martin all the way at the back that could give Fernan DRS if he catches up in time. Although he doesn't particularly get a faster lap like that here. He's going to need to find a way to resume that pace soon, because if he doesn't find that, then he'll find that it's a bit too late to catch up with just raw pace. Although also not forgetting the fact that Luce is here as well. He's just behind one of the Red Bulls. He actually has DRS on Outguard. If he catches up to Outguard, then the Red Bulls may be able to DRS themselves back together. Because even though Luce is 1 lap down, he is not giving up his position. If he makes a big crash, then Fernan might not even be able to get any DRS off of it. But it's looking like the Aston Martin just doesn't have the pace of the Red Bulls. He's not been able to find any cuts. He taps it up a little bit.
He's just spun around, and that's it, over for him. The McLaren's just gone right past. He hit the wall, span 180 degrees, and now he's dropped all the way back. He's now behind Zedneo and the Aston Martin. Oh no, wait, he's behind Domji. Oh no.
That was the last thing that Fernan wanted to see. We all thought there was going to be a chance for Fernan going into the race, but again, mistake after mistake then just leads to that specific moment where you're not focusing and suddenly you tapped a wall. Your whole season comes down to that. And now the best thing Fernan can do is damage control. He's not going to be able to catch up to the Red Bulls, but if he can make it on the podium, then that means that massive spin is going to mean nothing. But now this group of 3 who he initially had the same goal with, to catch up to the leaders, he is now in an intense battle to prevent as much damage as possible to his own standings after such a catastrophic mistake. And both of the Red Bulls have already pitted, and Outguard is outside of Critical's range, so Critical Noob is pretty evidently going to be the winner of this race. But can Fernan get the damage control that he needs? And also, it's worth mentioning that Outguard did actually catch up to Critical Noob, and now is within the DRS zone of him.
All Fernan really needs to do is finish third, and he'll probably consider that a job well done, because he's currently in the fight for that third place, and he needs all the points he can get if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive tonight. Because if he makes one more big mistake, like we saw earlier, that's it. It's game over for Fernand.
And looking at the front, Outguard and Critical are both seriously benefiting off of each other's DRS, and they have done enough now. I can imagine that they're going to have a pretty decent battle next to each other, but I'm fairly certain that Outguard at the end is probably going to move out of the way of Critical if he is leading, because Critical absolutely needs those points. And if Fernand comes third and Critical comes second, Dev, I'm focusing on the lead battle. What are you talking about? But yeah, considering that if Critical comes second and Fernand comes third, there's going to be a way smaller gap in the points than Red Bull would have wanted. I can assume that they're gonna let Critical Noob win this. I'm cutting back to Fernand as well. Is he going to be in the lead by the end of the first lap? No, it's ASM that cuts there. As now there's actually a pretty large gap between those two. Outguard and Critical are also quite equal to each other. Was that good enough for you, Dev? Probably. So cutting back to them. Cutting back to the McLarens of ASM and the Aston Martin of Neo, Fernand is actually losing out to all three of them. He is going to have such a bad impact on the championship points if he's not able to catch up to both the McLaren and the Aston Martin, because those two don't necessarily have much to lose here, while Ferrari have everything to lose. The only thing they can sort of pray for is that Red Bull doesn't move Outguard out of the way if he is leading. But we'll have to wait and see for that. As now Fernand is taking it quite tight. He's going to have DRS and slipstream from the McLaren and the Aston Martin. Is he going to be able to make use of it? He doesn't quite have the speed over the both of them as it's the McLaren of ASM that is now cutting close to Neo. And now with only 3 laps to go, Fernand needs to get into third place if he wants the best shot at winning the championship now. Considering how many points he's going to lose if he gets fifth.
Yeah, he absolutely does need to be there. We've only got 2 more laps after this. He's dropping back behind the McLaren and the Aston Martin, and it's just looking less and less likely for the Ferrari driver to take that 3rd spot on the podium. He does have DRS though, and he's closing in. Might be able to jump up the 4th here. Let's see.
Critical Noob at the front also did tap a curb as well. He's still catching up to Outguard, but like I said, Red Bull's probably going to give Critical the win because of the championship battle they find themselves in. If they don't, then that's very peculiar, and that could backfire on them hard. But yeah, looking back at Fernand, they're all crossing the line. Who's going to be leading by the end of the lap? It's ASM and then Neo and Fernand. And at this point, Fernand needs to make a move on the two. They're really close. And now Neo taps a curb, and that opens the door for Fernand to get ahead of him. It's between him and ASM. Will Ferrari be able to do as much damage control as possible? They're taking the corner a little bit tighter than the McLaren, but I think this is probably all going to be decided on the line as cutting to the lead of Critical. That is actually getting very close between him and Outguard. They almost have a near identical gap to each other, and now going into the final lap, Critical actually has DRS on maximum slipstream on Outguard. So Critical is going to be the person leading this race. They enter the final lap, just like lap 20, dead even on each other. And cutting back to Fernand. This is looking like more and more bad news for Fernand. Is he going to be ahead of the group going into this lap? He has DRS. It's the Aston Martin that snubs of it. Who's going to get the most slipstream? ASM is still leading, but they're all still incredibly close. And just as I expected, Red Bull have let Critical Noob start leading the race. What happened?
McLaren. I think that was ASM. He went over the rumble strips there, and now he's dropped back. He's out of the podium fight now, and that makes it just a little bit easier for Fernand to get third.
Yeah, that's really good news for him. Now the only battle he has is with the Aston Martin. And looking at the front, let's just really quickly acknowledge how dominant Red Bull have been this race. Critical and Outguard have both given themselves. Critical flips! Critical flips! Shut up, D1! They're focusing on the lead battle. But here's the question: Is Outguard is Outguard going to slow down for his teammate?
No, he's not! Outguard wins!
Wait. Let me talk it. Let me talk it.
Third place and minimize the fight.
Oh my god, why do I even bother anymore? It cuts back. It cuts back to third. Will we be in third?
I gets it!
Look, Speed. Can I say something really quick? We both have really good chemistry, but at the end, can I be the person that commentates? Because I had so much to say about that, and you were talking over all of it, so nobody can hear me. Right. To repeat what I was going to say, Red Bull makes a really peculiar decision and doesn't let Critical win the race, even after that much of a slip. So it's Outguard that wins the race. Red Bull are Constructors champions, but also after an incredibly close race between the Ferrari and the Aston Martin, Vernon makes it into third place. And considering that Critical wasn't given considering that Red Bull didn't give Critical the lead, that might end up backfiring on them in the final race. And yes, Red Bull are now Constructors champions, but I doubt that that's going to be the last thing on that. But I doubt that's at the forefront of their mind, considering that by letting Critical not have the win, they've just given Vernon one more chance to win the championship. Because think about it, if there's a gap between them in second and first, all Vernon needs to do is win the final race, and he's world champion. This hasn't changed anything in the driver standings.
It absolutely has not, and you, like you just said, if Fernand wins the last race of the season, he can become champion. He just needs to make sure that his last race goes absolutely perfectly. So he cannot afford any mistakes whatsoever, and he just needs to finish ahead of Critical by only 2.5 points. He only needs to outscore him by 3 points. He needs to outscore him by 3 points to take the championship. So it's still wide open.
Yeah, and considering that isn't the gap between first and second, not much has really changed in the standings aside from Red Bull sealing the Constructors. So really interesting choice from the team. We'll have to see if that backfires on them going into the next race. And also one more thing to note. I said it before, but Spingen, if I say I want to talk, can I talk? Because that kind of made the last straight when I had a lot to say there. Kind of muted, like it was just sort of filled with me telling you to tell you to talk. I don't know. The ending commentary there was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I kind of got a little excited about the fight for third there. So,
yeah,
sorry.
I can excuse you for that, but I also wanted to really desperately, on the moment where it happened, point out the fact that Red Bull didn't let Critical take the lead there. Because, pardon my puns again, because that right there is critical for the championship. Especially considering after Vernon just barely beat the Aston Martin to the line to take the podium, that could change so much. And I kind of wanted to mention that in the moment. I mean, it's fine. This is a learning experience we can both learn from. But
yeah, absolutely.
But still, that was pretty crazy. And
I didn't know you were trying to speak. So
I was trying to say let me speak over all of that. But either way, I think considering how kind of lightheaded I feel after all of that, I'm gonna take a bit of time to rest. But also, there's someone here who's requesting to speak as well, and it looks like it's one of the engineers from the Red Bull team. Shall we bring him onto the stage? And also one of the drivers too. And wait, no, the team boss of Ferrari as well also wants to come up to speak. And you know what? I'm gonna leave this to you Spinjin, because like I'm gonna rest my head after that, and I did the interviews last time. So yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I'll see
I'll do
everyone
it.
else in what is probably gonna be one of the most intense final races of the season. Considering the point gap, will it go to critical? Will it go to Fernan? Find out at least from me in 1 week's time for the final round of Romula One. I'll see you until then.
Okay, right. Let's bring some people up. Come on, Iber. Iber, hello, welcome.
Hello.
So you're Fernand's engineer, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah, I keep getting them confused. So, third place in the race with critical in second. The fight's still on.
Yeah,
How are you
so we had
feeling after this
yeah, I'm
race?
feeling good. So we had a bit of a mistake with Fernand having a flip in the race as well, which made us lose a lot of time, and we accidentally pitted for the soft instead of the mediums on the pit stop. But I mean, thanks to Outguard, he's a fucking legend this race. Then we managed to actually stay in the championship fight, and it all goes down to this next race, which is very exciting, obviously, and I hope that I hope we can I hope we can take the win next race and win the championship. But it's going to be hard. Seeing Critical is a very skilled driver as well, so it's going to be hard. But we, yeah, obviously going to give it a try.
It would be good if you were to seal it. So yeah, and speaking about the next race, what and this race at all, could you tell us like what was going through your head as the laps ticked down towards the end?
Yeah, I
I'd
can
just
tell
like
it
to
was.
know what happened in this race from your perspective.
Yeah, I can tell it was very intense in the voice chat. We had me and the other engineer and Dom and Fernan, and then first of all we pitted for the wrong tire, as I said, and then it got like hectic, and then he flipped, and then we thought like it's fucked. There's no way there's no way this is going. And then like I read the chat and I saw Outguard catching up to Critical, and I was like, Fernand, drive fast. We can actually get this P3 and then fight for the championship. And then it was like so close. I was seeing Neo pulling away from like Fernand on my screen, and I was thinking, there's no way. But then like he got it barely by like 1/10, and it was like, yeah, this is good, very good for us. But it was very hectic. I think we had probably over 200 impulse in the whole team.
Wow, that is definitely something. And going into the final race, you got anything in mind that you might want to try?
I mean, I want to try to obviously that we want to try to win, but I think overall this season, Fernand has proven himself to be a very good driver. Like in general, he's consistent. He's been very good. It's been fun to work with him, and I'm looking forward, hopefully, to work with him next season as well. Even though if we don't win, but obviously we hope to win the championship, and we are going to do the very best we can to manage to win it. And yeah, that's all I can say.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming up, and I'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, Outguard, you're next.
Hello.
Outguard, welcome.
Yep.
First of all, congratulations on your win there. Tell us about it. Tell us how you feel.
Yeah. I didn't have much practice with the tires. I think I only tested like a little bit of the mediums and the hards. But in the race, I was just trying to be consistent. You know, I think in the first few laps, I was pulling away until I spun. But then I came back. I caught up to the leading pack, and then it was just smooth sailing from there. I was just fighting with Critical, you know, managing both of our paces. But Critical is gonna win, but at the end he made that mistake, which was quite unlucky. But it is what it is. Yeah, it's a good result for the team since we won the constructors.
Yeah, I kind of felt the rush of disappointment coming from the team when I saw Critical Noob just going off at the very, very last lap. Yeah. Anyways, congrats on the constructors championship. And wait, hold on, let me think. Is my mic disconnected? No, it's still connected. Sorry, I was just having a little brief moment whilst I think. Nice. I can tell by your smile on your avatar that you're really happy about this win. Outguard.
What? Oh, sorry, I was.
I was just on the broadcast. I can
Oh,
see
I thought
the
you were
camera
talking to someone
zooming
else.
big smile on your face.
Yeah,
You must
yeah,
be
yeah,
really
true.
happy.
Well, obviously, I haven't won since race 1.
He's gone. Yeah, I remember the very first race
Yeah.
that you took it from, and yeah, been quite a season. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to ask you. I'm really sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Take your time. Take your time. Wait, there is no
Can
Moroccan
I
anthem?
send you back to the audience?
What?
Oh,
So I won for nothing then. No anthem.
What do you-
Oh, boo! This league sucks.
oh, oh dear.
Are you thinking of a question?
I actually don't have any questions. I'm sorry.
You can just you can ask like anything.
What do you think of the please stand by boards on the all around the circuit?
Yeah,
Why do you think they never
don't
receive a
ever
broadcast?
question me again, bro. Don't ever ask any other questions. That was terrible. That was horrible.
You literally told me to ask you a question, and that's the question I asked.
Wait, what
You did
boards?
not.
I
You did
didn't
not
even
say what I
notice. What
could
board? Wait, what
ask.
boards?
The big television screens all around the circuit that
Oh,
the
that
camera
showed
is
the
focusing
static?
into.
I didn't even notice them.
Yeah, they've been there since the very start.
No, I didn't
Oh,
pay
and
attention to them.
do the podium. So I'm gonna have to send you back down. I'm sorry.
No, please.
I might bring you back up later.
No, please. No.
Okay, fine. You can stay. Okay, fine. You can stay up. Oh, never mind. He's gone. All right. No more interviews until after the podium. Okay. Okay. And first of all, we're going to be doing third place, and that belongs to championship, the current championship runner-up, Fernan. And in second place, retaking the championship lead from Fernan, I would believe. Critical. And last but not least, securing the championship for Red Bull. Second victory of the season. Outguard. The team who dominated Romula One, Scuderia, Oracle, Red Bull, Ferrari Racing. Oh, and he's just fallen off. Now, hopefully, no, the national anthem of Morocco.